Hello, Kim here from Able Recruitment. I've just snuck away for a couple of hours to go to my kids' swimming carnival today. And I was thinking about how we build resilient kids, because you see all these different children of different ages and stages, different capability levels, highs and lows and emotion that goes at any swimming carnival. And I thought, I see these similar emotions in my candidates. Strategies can help in playing a role in helping people to deal with rejection or dealing with going in time after time, going after something. And so I thought we might just have a chat about that. I wanted to make sure that I structure the information that I give you in line with the information that's out there about the psychology of resilience. So let's start off with the first thing that comes up, and that's the negative self-talk. I'm not talking about rah, 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 talk positive, tell yourself you'll get the job and you'll get it. It's not that at all. It's what do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about the situation? And what are you saying to yourself when you decide to go for a job? Are you saying to yourself, I'm not capable of this, so I'm not going to apply for it? Are you going into an interview thinking, I'm too old, they're not going to like me, I'm the wrong gender, they're not going to like me, I'm going to be discriminated against for this, and whatever else that might be completely irrelevant and untrue? What are you saying to yourself? If you realise that you're dwelling on some things in your mind that are just based on assumptions and worrying and what you think it could be, rather than just focusing on the actual facts that you know, then you're going to give yourself a really hard time. I'm going to guarantee that if you just worry about what you know, the facts in front of you, don't think any further than that, don't look back about what's happened before, just focus on the facts, and you're going to do a lot better at coping with that message when it comes. If it is, sorry, you're not going to get an interview this time, or thanks for coming for 3 interviews and you're not getting the job. The next one is overcoming that fear of failure. I know it sounds cliche, and it kind of is, but it's a real thing. I talk to people a lot who are, I can actually think of one particular person off the top of my head immediately, and I know that there's more out there, who I talk to every 6 to 12 months, and they're usually half interested in looking at something else. They're always unhappy. They're always wanting to do the next thing, but they never actually go to that point of applying for something or taking whatever the next step is to see if they can make that happen. So stuff that. It's so easy, isn't it? Overcome your fear of failure. Do it. Obviously easier said than done. So according to the research, if you're wanting to overcome your fear of failure, the best thing you can do is stop and then have a think about where you've done things in the past that were difficult or challenging, or you didn't think you could do it and you had a crack at it anyway and you succeeded, or you didn't succeed but you felt really good about yourself because you knew that you tried and you put in the effort. So if you're sitting in a job, you hate it, you want something else, stop complaining and talk to me or talk to someone else or do your own research. I don't care what you do, just take that next step so that you can feel better about either choosing to stay or feel good that you're on the path to doing something about it. Okay, this next one is about looking after yourself and being kind and compassionate to yourself. And this one I do harp on about quite a little bit, especially with candidates who might have taken a redundancy, or for whatever reason maybe they've moved from overseas or interstate and they're not working, and it's just not in they're not used to it. They're used to working and being in a full-time position, having a purpose, a job to do, having that routine, and all of a sudden not having a job and not picking up a job really quickly like that. Those people tend to struggle if they don't do certain things, like having that positive way of talking to themselves and believing that they can do things and trying hard things. Something else that it really comes down to, I think, is, and this is where we get back to the looking after yourself situation, my strong recommendation in that scenario is work out, are you a morning or an afternoon person? If you're a morning person, get up early, get online, do your job searching, do your LinkedIn stuff, talk to your recruiting people, work on updating your CV, do all your job related activity, like job search activity early in the morning, and then pick a time. I don't care if it's 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 10 a.m, whatever. Pick that time. Once the time comes around, that's it. Turn that thing off. Get out of your house, or you don't have to get out of the house, but just go do something else. Do something that you enjoy doing, like if you normally go to yoga classes, or you like going for a run, or you're into photography, or you want to take the dog for a walk, you've got another hobby, or you like to cook. Whatever it is, make time to do those things. Not just, oh, I'll do it next week, but see if you can do a bit of it almost every day whilst you're on the job search. So you job search in the morning, do your other stuff later, or do your other things first and then do your job search in the afternoon if that's where you're better. Obviously, if you get an invite for an interview and someone wants to meet with you and it's in the wrong time of day, don't worry, just go. Just say, yes, I'll be there, and make it happen. But outside of that, have a bit of structure, do the things that you enjoy doing, eat well. Yeah, nutrition's one of those known things that keeps coming up in this research that I've looked at, and just one of those things that, you know, you get to a certain age and you've probably figured that out for yourself anyway. It's one of those things that we know, but sometimes we have to remind ourselves of what we already know. So yeah, good food and lots of sleep, plenty of rest, exercise, those things. You see your friends, honestly, go and make coffee dates, or ask your old workmates if they want to have lunch, or see your friend. It doesn't have to just be work related stuff. See your other friends that you know outside of work. Just maintain that human connection, so you kind of don't feel as though you're stuck at home all by yourself looking at Seek all day every day and waiting for a job to pop up and not having any kind of life. You want to be in a situation where you go to an interview and you turn up with a smile on your face and you're happy and feeling good about yourself and feeling positive about the future, because that's going to come across. If you turn up feeling sad and sorry for yourself and it's been a really hard slog, which it may well have been, you just don't want that to come across, because your interviewer will pick that up and they may not know the background or how it's all come about, and what they'll pick up on is, oh, maybe we liked that person, maybe they had the right background and experience, but there was just something that was off. And most people are too polite to look you in the eye and say to you, I feel as though this conversation's going a bit off track, or I feel like there's something that I'm just not, there's something niggling at me about how this has all come about. Can you tell me more? That won't happen. That you will not even get that opportunity. It'll just be, I didn't feel that something was quite right about that person. The next person comes in happy, smiley, and they don't get that same vibe. That person's much, much more likely to get an offer than the person who turns up with that kind of negative energy about them. So I hope that makes sense. So finally, the last thing that I want to mention is something that I do sometimes recommend to candidates, just depending on how they're talking, how they're coming across, and how I might sense that they could be feeling. And that is to make sure that they go and, like, there's no shame in getting some professional help. If you need to go and talk to a counsellor or somebody that's going to help you talk through those really big emotions that do come with a redundancy or a move across to the other side of the world, or being let go from a job, whatever it is, all of those situations quite often lead to people feeling really down about themselves and unable to pick themselves up and look forward optimistically. You want to be optimistic. So yeah, talk to whoever you need to talk to. There's no shame in it. And I wish you all the very, very best of luck with your job search. So just to close out, one of my kids, just back to this swimming carnival, one of them came home, you know, with a ribbon and the other one didn't. And that's kind of what prompted this whole me to think about how do you build resilience and teach resilience. And then I realised this is like something that I'm talking about all the time with candidates. And so I just wanted to share that with you, and I hope that it helps. Okay, bye.